And welcome again to our Radio Primavera Sound Twitch stream. As the rain has started outside, we have one of our favourite bands, Lankum. How are you doing?
Very good.
How's it going?
So Sergi and me, right, we are the office's sort of hardcore Lankum wing, basically. I think False Lankum was both our albums of the year?
Yeah, for sure.
Class.
Amazing. Cool. Amazing.
And I managed to miss... Well, I didn't miss the gig. I just couldn't go to it because I was doing stuff here. But how was it?
Well, it was a very nice experience to come from what was like one of the sunniest days we'd ever experienced as Irish people, and just to leave it all for a dirty, dark, cold room underground. Felt quite fitting, actually.
And... I mean, what do you think is the best place to listen to your music? I remember the first time somebody played it to me, they were like, you listen to it in the dark with the lights off. And I don't think I did, but it was quite an interesting advice.
I think just it definitely has to be loud and through good quality speakers.
Or headphones. Headphones. I'd like to imagine people listen to our music on headphones.
On magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
So it's been. I was saying I spoke to you a year ago, just after False Lankum, I think, was released. It's been an amazing year, I'm guessing. Any kind of like particularly standout moments?
I really liked playing the Roundhouse in London, just because it was one of our biggest gigs to date, and the crowd was amazing, and the venue kind of has a legendary history, and it just felt like a really kind of special moment to me, anyway.
Yeah. It's all been kind of mad.
Supersonic was unbelievable.
Yeah. It was class, yeah.
So many good things happening.
Yeah, I always love playing Dublin.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. It's always really good.
It's a very special all the time.
Barrowlands in Glasgow was
great.
Unbelievable.
That venue was unreal.
Yeah.
That's got like a springy dance floor.
Yeah, it's got a sprung floor.
Yeah.
And the best neon lights of all time. Like.
I've never been to Barrowlands. Everyone says it's one of the best places in the UK to go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The combination of the venue and then Glasgow people is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Because were you kind of surprised that False Lankum, which is your most uncompromising record, was the one that kind of brought you to, new audiences?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that still shocks us, I think, when we hear people, going on about it. And we were fully prepared for everyone to hate it when we made it. We were just all, okay, look at lads, this is the record we want to make. It's gonna go out there. Just let's get ready for a proper lashback about it. People are absolutely gonna despise this album, so let's go. And we're going, okay, it was like that thing in films, where they all put their hands down, go, okay, go team, they're gonna hate us. And then it came out, and then loads of new people got into us because of it, which is a really heartening thing for us to experience, that in this day and age, you can actually make the music you want to make, be as uncompromising as possible. Who would have thought 12-minute long Irish ballads with noisy elements mixed in? That's not exactly a recipe you're going to come up with if you're trying to get people to listen to your band. Do you know what I mean? But some lads in Irish jerseys out the window there. That's it.
So I'm kind of really interested in obviously you draw on the Irish folk tradition. And as someone I've got roots in Britain and family long ago in Ireland, I kind of think in a way some of the references are quite familiar. But how do people Americans relate to it, or Spanish people relate to it? Do you find, because I sometimes wonder if they have the same kind of references?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I think with any art that I enjoy, I think it's capable of being interacted with on a number of different levels, And I think people maybe in some places where they might not get all the exact nuances and stuff that we're doing, they can still enjoy it on a more surface level and still enjoy it just as much as people in Ireland who are like, oh, I see what they did there. It's very clever or whatever, So I think I'd like to think that people can interact with it on a number of different levels, depending on how they come across it and depend who they are or where they're from and what their cultural background is.
You've got a live album live in Dublin, which comes out later this month.
21st of June, midsummer.
Perfect.
Ooh, yeah. Summer, yeah.
Did it when you were choosing where to do it? Was it obvious to do it in Dublin, or was it just that was the best gig, or?
Probably obvious, just because anytime we play in Dublin, the kind of interaction between us and the crowd is it just it's kind of like firecrackers or something. It just totally kicks off every time. It's a really, really special kind of buzz.
And yeah, we played there 3 nights in a row last year, so we thought if we don't get a good take of a song
Right.
and on 3 separate nights, then what are we even doing anyway? So it seemed like the best.
I've heard it. One of the things, it's a really great record. One of the things I really like about it is between songs, you sound absolutely delighted. You know, like, and you kind of, I can't remember what you're doing, like, joking basically, and kind of, really light-hearted. It's kind of not what I expected really, which is lovely.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. Usually when we play, we talk a load of nonsense in between songs anyway, but I think in Dublin that really gets amped up and people can actually understand what we're saying. And also, like, get the nuances in that as well, not just the music. So it's always, it's nice. Yeah.
There's always a few really, really hilariously funny wisecracks from the audience as well that totally set us off. And it's just this total, like, ping pong match.
I was reading. Can you tell us about the culture of music sessions in Dublin?
I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
It's something that's been there since probably going back to the 60s. It's a very kind of healthy and lively ecosystem of people playing traditional music around the cities and pubs, and they're usually quite like small, quite informal affairs where people will just gather around and play the tunes that they like to play, and different musicians will come in every week and join in with the tunes they know, don't join into tunes they don't know. And it's kind of something like me and Dara only came to kind of go to sessions like that when we were maybe in our 20s, but Cormac would have been playing in those sessions since he was a kid probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ian, you compared it to punk once.
I did, yeah. I like what really draw me towards it was like the kind of DIY, like decentralized nature. I really loved the fact that there was no big rock stars, there was no stages, there was no like, security guards standing outside. It was just literally, you'd see like the most famous and most accomplished like Irish musicians just sitting in the corner of a pub playing music with their friends, and that, like, the parallels that I saw with that were with like the kind of DIY punk underground culture that I grew up with as a teenager, where people were organising their own music events and organising their own parties just to play and just put the music that they're into out there. Nobody was doing it for profit, or nobody was doing it to try and make a career for themselves. It was just literally people organising these events for the love of the music, and that was just something I found really inspiring.
Do you think what you do, the music you do, is kind of punk in a way?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely an influence. Like it would have been a big influence on me. Like I was really involved in punk when I was a teenager, and it's, I mean, even if the music we're playing isn't ostensibly punk, I think it's there in a lot of the ethos of the band. I think even though we're playing like these bigger venues, we still have a very DIY ethos, and we do everything ourselves. We still take care of all our own merch, and we do our own bookings. Like, as we like to have as much control over the operation as we can, and that's, I mean, it's still working out for us. It's maybe like gets harder to do the busier the band gets, but it's very important for us to retain control, like artistic control. Absolutely, like that's the very basis, but also retain control over lots of other elements of the band as well. And we're very lucky in that way that we're on Rough Trade, because they've never tried to interfere with what we do, like on an artistic level or on a creative level in any way. So it's worked out really well for us.
So there's also kind of there's a funny sort of link in that John, who was Cormac's brother, who has been playing drums with us for the last couple of years, one of Ian's first ever bands, he was in with John when he was like 17, I think.
Yeah, 16 or 17.
16 or 17, called the Gougers.
Yeah.
And so like, whatever, 20 years later now they're in
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a band together again.
Were they any good, your punk bands?
They were shy. They were atrocious. Like I have one recording of a band, and I like sometimes put it on, and my face immediately just goes red, and I wince in pain. I wouldn't even show it to anybody.
So you're talking about like planning. So do you know basically everything? You change everything, like down to the last sort of t-shirt design. You check that, Is that? Do you see a point where that could get difficult, or is it just sort of non-negotiable? That's what's going to happen.
It's kind of just the way we operate. Like we have a manager now who's an old friend of ours, so that kind of works quite well. And yeah, we'll chat about everything that needs to happen and kind of make sure that everybody's kind of in the loop and on board with what is going on and how it's going to happen, and it's kind of the way it's been from the outset, and it works.
It was getting difficult, even with the first album that we made together, Cold Old Fire. I remember being on tour in the States and we were all folding up record covers because we really wanted this like DIY printers. Yeah, there's a letterpress place in Portland, Oregon called Stumptown. We really wanted them to make the cover because they do a really nice, you get like embossed artwork on the cover and it's really nice cardboard. So we got them to do it, but that meant we had to fold all the covers ourselves. So we're like on tour just folding up all these covers by hand, and that got like really trying after a while. So having a record label definitely helps in that regard.
Yeah.
There's nothing more rock and roll than folding.
I know. Yeah.
Last thing, I know we kept you a while. Like, do you kind of have any thoughts about the next record, or is it just it will come when it comes? And
I mean, we've kind of, it's very subtly kind of in the air that we're gonna have to start doing something soon. But like, we haven't really talked seriously about it or anything. Like, we just did something where we made some music for a play that's gonna happen.
It's like a modern kind of dance show / theatre production.
So we were putting a bit of work into that, and then there was like a collaboration that we're gonna be doing at some stage with The Bug as well.
With The Bug?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So you know, they're like just two things. Well, like, to be honest, like we're kind of just kept so busy just doing the gigs, just staying on the road, and you know, we've all got kind of like side projects as well. So just finding the time, because we were really lucky with False Lankum that lockdown had happened. So you know, nobody was gigging or nobody was doing anything. So we just had all the time in the world to record. It's not really possible to do that when you're a gigging band, you know.
Well, look, thank you so much. I'm going to go to your Barcelona gig if it absolutely kills me.
Amazing.
28th
of
September in Apollo 28th, right? Yeah.
September, Apollo, Sala Apollo?
Yeah, Sala Apollo, 28th.
28th September, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Lankum, thank you.
Thanks
Thank you.
for having us.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.